Okay, so I wanted to make a response video to these McCloskeys who basically were at the RNC convention while everybody else's attention was on the protesting and probably eventual rioting that's happening due to that shooting in Wisconsin where that black father got into his car when he was walking away from police. They shot him in the back in front of his kids. So I don't know what time the riots start, but I need a new 80-inch television. So let's get this started real quick.
Good evening, America. We are Mark and Patty McCloskey. We're speaking to you tonight from St. Louis, Missouri, where just weeks ago you may have seen us defending our home as a...
Okay, defending your home. First of all, nobody was attacking, quote-unquote, attacking your home. You were outside dressed tacky. Your wife should have had shoes on so we didn't have to see that. And y'all looked ridiculous. It looked like something out of like one of those Grand Theft Auto games. And I have to say, it's a very, very lovely and nice house and everything. But here's my question. When these people came by and they were marching and this, that, and other, here's my question. What would you have done if these were Jehovah's Witnesses? It's like you would have just hid in your house and closed the shades and you would have pretended you weren't there. But instead, what you tried to do was intimidate them with guns as if none of these people in the crowd had guns that they could shoot back. Because just because you're holding that bitch-ass M16 don't mean nothing, because I got something under my bed that could deal with that. But me personally, I don't go out and protest or riot or demonstrate or any of that stuff. I stay home and watch it on television. But anyway, the two of you guys were dressed tacky, and I think that there was different ways that you could have handled it. But what you chose to do was attempt to intimidate these people as if two people with two guns is enough to stop a determined gunman who is determined to rain fire down on you. But that's not what happened. So fortunately for you, that's not what happened. Good luck.
Mob of protesters
Mob.
on our neighborhood.
Oh, look, he looks so heroic right there. He looks like a real man. Oh my goodness. It's almost, look how manly he looks. It's like, did Photoshop add a bulge in this guy's pants or something? Something seriously wrong with this photo. It looks Photoshopped to me, because I don't, Jesus. That guy, he looks so manly. I'm gonna call this guy, Gristle McThornbody. This guy looks so manly. Ooh, Jesus. I know the grandmas are getting hot looking at this photo. Jesus Christ. I think this has been photoshopped, but I can't be sure, Mr. Manly Man. Anyway, and this, look at her in the poor trigger discipline. How the hell are you holding a gun like that and the NRA lets you keep your license? But I guess they're having their own problems right now, you know, considering the lawsuits against Wayne LaPierre. Okay, let's continue. And by the way, is this guy holding a QR code? Because that doesn't look like a standard protest sign. That shit looks like a QR code to me. But anyway, it's funny. When you pause a video, you start to notice little things. That's a really nice house. I got to say, that's a really nice house.
America is such a great country.
America is such a great country. Not only do we have a right to own a gun,
but thousands of Americans will offer you free advice on how to use it.
Yes, they will.
At least that's what we experience.
Yeah, because you did it poorly. First of all, you practice poor trigger discipline. You go to a gun range, the gun range tells you right away, always keep this thing pointed downrange. Never keep your finger anywhere near the trigger until you're ready to fire, and so forth and so on. But that's the reason why you got that free advice. It's because you did it wrong.
You saw it happen to us.
It
just as easily happen to any of you.
I don't think it could happen to me, number one, because I'm not stupid enough to go up to my doorstep holding guns and intimidating people who are passing by. If that was the case, when the Jehovah's Witnesses come by, I could go right to my door with my gun out and try to scare them off. But I'm not going to do that because that would just be stupid and it would be poor trigger discipline. Anyway.
We're watching from quiet neighborhoods around our country. And that's what we want to see.
Quiet neighborhoods. You know what? You need to watch Lee Atwater's Southern Strategy. When you hear certain key words are basically abstract dog whistles to basically say, yeah, there's no blacks, no Hispanics, and there's no riffraff and whatnot in our neighborhood. We live in a beautiful museum and we want to keep it that way. Lee Atwater taught me that when he taught me the Southern Strategy. The video's on YouTube. I'll provide a link. I love the key words. The dog whistling don't work no more, McCloskey. So anyway.
Speak to you about tonight.
about tonight.
That's exactly right. Whether it's the defunding of police, ending cash bail so criminals can be released back out on the streets the same day.
Is this guy out of breath? You might want to get a coronavirus. Ending the cash bailout so the criminals can be back on the streets. Anyway.
To riot again. Or encourage...
Wait. Letting criminals back out on the streets to riot again? Chances are the criminals who were in jail weren't in jail for rioting. Chances are the criminals who were in jail for either these bullshit drug laws or some non-violent offense, because that's actually the bulk of the reason why most of these people are in jail. And if this country would stop being chumps and they would execute murders and rapists, we wouldn't have a recidivism rate. So the simple fact of the matter is, the law at this point, they had no choice but to let these people out because of the coronavirus spreading in the jails. And for them to leave them in the jails would have been considered cruel and unusual punishment, especially considering some of the guards in the prisons, the corrections officers, brought coronavirus into the prison. And then you had new prisoners who weren't tested bringing it into the prison. You can't just leave. If you're not going to execute murders and rapists, then you're going to have to accept a recidivism rate. As far as you go, what you did was you practiced poor trigger discipline, so the state should absolutely crucify you for that. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Anarchy and chaos on our streets. It seems as if the Democrats no longer view the government's job as protecting honest citizens from criminals, but rather protecting...
When you say the government, and this is one of the things I've noticed about these right-wingers lately, Trump is the president right now. What did he do to protect you and your house? Nothing. In fact, for almost the first week and a half, there was no organized response. And now anybody who would be an anarchist knows that it takes the government a long time to actually plan a response, which left you basically with nothing but your cheap guns in order to protect yourselves. So why is it that the things that are happening right now under Trump's administration are being passed off as a possibility for later when they're happening right now? Can you answer that question, Lawyer McCloskey?
Criminals from honest citizens. Not a single person in the out-of-control mob you saw in our house.
They didn't look out of control. If they were an out-of-control mob, your house would have been burned down and both of you would have been killed. They were not out of control. And it's not because you standing there with that punk-ass gun as if you go and shoot somebody. That's not out of control. Out of control is that shit that I saw happening in Midtown Manhattan when I was laying in bed watching chaos and everything unfolding, and they were breaking into stores and tossing laptops out the window. But I'll get to that later.
Is charged with a crime. But you know who was? We were.
Good!
They've actually charged us with felonies for daring to defend our home.
You didn't defend your home because nobody broke into your home. Public property was outside. The tax dollars that you motherfuckers are stealing is what was paying for what's outside your house. Nobody broke into your house. You didn't defend your home. You came outside and pointed guns at people who were protesting on public property. You don't even, as far as I know, based on law and the codes, as far as I know, everything outside the walls of your house technically belongs to the government. But considering you people are stealing money that we'll never find out about, you know, we'll find out later, but whatever. I don't consider them out of control because, you know, you're still alive and you're making this video. So anyway.
On top of that, consider this.
On top of that.
The Marxist liberal
listen. When you start with this Marxist liberal stuff, do me a favor. Just break that down because most people go to sleep when you start saying shit like that. Most people don't know what you're talking about, okay? I'll tell you like this. If you think that the average criminal who's coming out of jail is up to date on all this bullshit you're hearing from right-wing talk media, you're wrong, because they really don't know what you're talking about. If you tell a criminal before he breaks into your house, stop trying to break into my house, you Marxist, he's gonna look at you like you're crazy, because he's like, what are you talking about? So anyway.
Leading the mob to our neighborhood.
Leading the mob.
Stood outside our home with a bullhorn screaming, "You can't stop the revolution."
Look at this. She looks like a grunt from Halo. Like, you know what I'm talking about? She looks like one of the Halo grunts. Like, Jesus Christ, do you need a mask? Do you need a mask like that? My God. And then she's poorly proportioned. She looks just like one of these guys. She looks like that guy right there from Halo. Like, she looks like the guy from Halo 2. She looks terrible. If there's any crime going on there, it's that mask. Okay, so anyway, back to business. Where were we? Uh-oh. Tell me I didn't lose it. The McCloskeys. These guys are losers.
Just weeks later, that same Marxist activist won the Democrat nomination to hold a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives.
Ain't that a bitch? Now, guess what, guys? Let me tell you something. For all you right-wingers who hate Ilhan Omar and hate Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and hate Tlaib and just about anybody else, Maxine Waters, whatever. Simple fact of the matter is they got voted in using the Democratic Republic what is it called? When we vote people in, we have a representative democracy, I believe it is, or technically this is a republic because we elect people to represent us. Bottom line is their constituents voted for them. So if you don't like it, I think your option was to vote against her. Did you show up to vote against her? Well, I guess you guys were too busy dealing with the ATF to show up and vote against her. But yeah, they're going to keep voting in more of them Tlaibs and Omars and Waters and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez just might be president in 2024. I'll tell you, it's like that. So anyway.
In the city of St. Louis.
In the city of St. Louis. The same as winning the general election. Marxist revolution is going to be a congresswoman from the first district of Missouri. These radicals are not content with marching the streets.
They want the halls of Congress. They want to take over. They want power.
Does this guy have dentures? I don't know.
This is Joe Biden's party.
Joe Biden's not the president right now. What did Trump do about it? Biden's not the president right now. And if I'm not mistaken, the same shit was happening when Obama was in office that's happening while Trump's in office. And there's no telling that it won't happen when Biden's in office or if Trump won a second term. You think all of a sudden Trump winning a second term is going to stop people from breaking into stores to steal televisions? You think Trump being in office for a second term is going to stop them from coming and taking your dentures right out of your house off your desk? The answer is no. The question is, what is he doing about it now? Y'all want to nominate him. What is he doing now? Why is it that all of the violence that they're trying to pass off to the next 4 years is happening now? So anyway.
These are the people who will be in charge of your future.
These are the people who will be in charge of your people in the future. No, actually, the people who will be in charge of your children's futures are the banks and the Federal Reserve that have printed this country into near bankruptcy and made us so weak on a national stage that countries like China and Russia don't even have to pay us any attention whatsoever. And thanks to your favorite President Trump, NATO is now so weak that I think we're basically at odds with Turkey, who John F. Kennedy put Jupiter missiles in Turkey in order to ward off the Soviets from invading anybody. But now, thanks to Trump making it NATO weaker because they're not paying their fair share and trying to pull out the troops for Germany and trying to pull out troops all over the world, you're making America weaker on the world stage. And eventually, this non-interventionist foreign policy is going to make us so weak until eventually places like China are just going to laugh at us and say, yeah, you ain't shit and you can't do nothing because you don't have NATO anymore because of your dear President Trump. You guys are clowns. In fact, you look like Trump and Trump's first wife that he cheated on. I think that was Don Jr.'s mom. So anyway.
They're not satisfied with spreading the chaos and violence into our communities.
Why are you shaking like that? You got like multiple sclerosis or some shit? Why are you act like you scared right now? You want to go get your gun and hold it just in case? You act like you scared right now. Did the Republicans prompt you to do this? Anyway.
They want to abolish the suburbs altogether.
That is not true. First of all, I own 2 homes in the suburbs, and we're not trying to, well, first of all, I shouldn't say we because I wasn't out there. They're not trying to abolish the suburbs. What they're trying to do is get some level of equity, since most of you who are in the suburbs get your money out of the city, take your money out of the city, and then retreat to the suburbs where you're segregated by either property taxes or by law. Over here in, what is it called, Levittown, they actually have laws in the contracts that say you're not allowed to sell these houses to blacks or to Hispanics. They actually have laws on the books that say that in the contracts. So it's kind of just like what happened in South Africa. What they did was they come in, they take your resources, and then they apartheid or segregate you. And now that you're separate, they think that they're so safe in their segregated neighborhoods. And now they come to find out that no, they're not. Now, I live in the suburbs. I've got an AR-15. Now, in fact, I got 2 of them. I got a couple other fantastic little treats. But what you don't see is me coming outside pointing them at people for doing peaceful. This was a peaceful protest. They did it during the daytime. I know you were putting pictures of broken gates and this, that, and other, but they never came into your house, so don't even try it.
By ending single-family home
By ending
zoning,
single-family,
this
Jesus
forced
Christ.
rezoning would bring crime,
She's so
lawlessness,
old,
and low-quality
she looks like a
apartments
Star
into
Trek
suburban
captain or
neighborhoods.
admiral.
President Trump smartly ended this.
President Trump didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing. That's why you were out there with your guns. Where was all President Trump's troops and men and couldn't put his horses back together again? Where the hell were they?
Government overreach.
No, I call government overreach doing no-knock warrants and busting into Breonna Taylor's house and killing her in her own house. If you're talking about somebody breaking into somebody's house and violating their constitutional rights, first of all, I'm disappointed that a Supreme Court who's supposed to know the law better than I do, because I'm not one of them, could ever allow no-knock warrants to exist. But the mere fact that they do just tells me that these people who are in charge right now don't know the law, or at least they're not abiding by the Constitution. So when you want to talk about somebody invading people's houses, let's mention Breonna Taylor. Let's mention her name when you're getting all up high and mighty with your little pathetic pistol that you're planning on shooting like, what, 1 or 2 people before you get overrun? Anyway, next.
Joe Biden wants to bring it back.
Joe Biden didn't do anything. In fact, y'all have been saying that Joe Biden's losing his goddamn mind. Y'all saying he's demented over on the right. What do you mean Joe Biden wants to bring it back? As far as I know, he doesn't even know who he really is based on the lies y'all telling. What are you saying?
These are the powerful.
And Trump is president right now. You should be at the DNC condemning Trump for not protecting you better. Losers.
That are coming to a neighborhood near you.
Coming to a neighborhood near you. Uh-oh, I feel some Lee Atwater coming on. I feel some Southern strategy. Let's see if there's any keywords that are going to be used. Watch this, watch this.
So make no mistake.
Uh-oh.
No matter where you live, your family will not be safe in the radical Democrats' America.
First of all, I could get hit by a fucking asteroid right now, just like 65 million years ago with the dinosaurs. Nobody's safe. Safety is an illusion. Second of all, the Democrats under Obama they were there, and we didn't have this kind of craziness. We only got people this angry under Trump. He's given all the money to the rich, and he's left behind nothing for the working poor. I believe there's a saying, and I love your beautiful mansion and museum-looking house. I love it. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I would have gone differently on the couch because Bob's Discount Furniture has this beautiful blue with white trim, and I really like that. I would have gone different there. If you don't feed the poor, they will eat the rich. Don't ever think that you're safe. If you're rich and you know that there's a lot of poor people that are only getting poorer and their basic needs aren't getting met, they will eat your ass and they'll take your AR-15 from you. You might shoot 1 or 2 of them, but I think you should pay attention to those zombie movies. Those zombie movies are an allegory onto what will happen when there are a lot of have-nots versus a few haves. And you have a very lovely house, by the way. Don't think for 1 second that anybody's safe. Even if the poor aren't safe from the other poor people, don't think that segregating yourself to some area that's isolated, don't think that that's going to protect you. Not unless you figure out a way to move to Mars or something. Okay.
At this moment in history, if you stand up for yourself and for the values our country was founded on.
What was that? Slavery? What were those values, huh? What were those values? Inequality? Which values? Tell me which values. I'm tired of people speaking in terms that I don't understand. Tell me, what values? Are you talking about let's see, what was it said when they wrote the Constitution? It's, we hold these rights to be self-evident that all men are created equal. Well, I don't think that all of those years of slavery and the fact that it ended just 2 generations ago, leaving a massive deficit between rich and poor, I don't think that fits in line with the Constitution, unless you were to not consider certain people to be equals or to consider certain people to even be human. So, again, don't think you're safe. You're not safe. The poor ain't safe from the poor. The rich goddamn sure ain't safe from the poor.
The mob, spurred on by their allies in the media.
Their allies in the media? Why don't you name some names? Because as far as I know, PBS, as far as I know, they're kind of left-wing. I mean, they used to run Sesame Street, so they have to believe in equality by now. Anyway.
They'll try to destroy you.
Really? Yeah, you guys look like shit. Where did you get that shit? If y'all are rich, why are you dressed like that? You're dressed like you're from Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and your wife is dressed like Where's Waldo? Anyway, these people.
Know that we're not the kind of people who back down. Thankfully, neither is Donald Trump.
Trump didn't do shit. He didn't do anything, not until they came to the White House, and then all he could do was hide in a vault in the basement with the CIA, hiding in a vault. That's all he did. He didn't protect you. Y'all passed it off on Biden. Trump didn't protect you. He was hiding the whole time. Anyway.
President Trump will defend the God-given right of every American to protect their homes and their families.
So what you're telling me is that he's going to strike down New York's laws that say what guns that I'm not allowed to purchase. Is that what you're saying? Because if that's true, that sounds really good. Hopefully, because I really, really want a Barrett M82A1. I have $9,000 plus tax, and I really want one. But apparently New York state law says you're not allowed to have a rifle that holds more than like 10 rounds and is loaded through a magazine from the bottom. They want you to have to be forced to load them through the top. I really don't like the AR-15 that's New York compliant. I definitely wouldn't buy one. But if you're saying he's going to strike down those laws, which he hasn't done in 4 years, that sounds pretty good.
But more than that, Trump's vision for America.
What vision? What vision? He hasn't done shit in 4 years except kill 180,000 Americans. What are you talking about?
It's a country where you have an opportunity to work hard
and
build the life you dream of, with a job you love, with your children being educated in great schools, in a community where your family can play in the backyard without fear, worship in a church without shame, and express your beliefs without retribution.
Wait. Who's being attacked on their beliefs? And what beliefs are you talking about? Who? I haven't seen any anti-Christian protests. Not here. Who are you talking about? Anyway.
Trump brought us the greatest economy our country had ever seen.
Bullshit. I believe that the greatest economy this country's ever seen was shortly after World War II. We had factories. Everybody had a job, and it wasn't until the union started to form that you had Reagan make it possible for union busting to happen by basically outsourcing factory work to Asia, and specifically China, which basically is in control of all of Asia now, thanks to our spending mindlessly and our Federal Reserve lowering interest rates to make it so that I could buy this beautiful, lovely computer for thousands of dollars less than it would ever cost 20 or 30 years ago. So basically, you found out the hard way that you're a victim of free market capitalism. You found out the hard way. Sorry.
The Democrats have brought us nothing but destruction.
That is not true. The Democrats have bought you way more. Well, I'll tell you what. The Democrats didn't bring you Bush's war in Iraq, for one. The Democrats didn't bring you coronavirus, for two. The Democrats, for the most part, I can't point to anything they really destroyed. It's like even the majority of the wars that they started were usually over something that was pretty much within America's interest. Now, I could make the same argument for the Republicans. I'm anti-war and whatever, but for the most part, the Democrats haven't lined up at your house shooting at you. What are you talking about?
When we don't have basic safety and security in our communities, we'll never be free to build a brighter future for ourselves,
Man, she
for our
looks
children,
old.
or for our country.
Her country.
That's what's at stake in this election.
Yeah.
And that's why we
I think she's missing teeth on the right side.
must
I gotta see that.
re-elect Donald
Hold on,
Trump.
hold on.
That's what's at stake in this election. And that's why
Wait.
our children are for our country.
Wait.
To build a brighter future for ourselves, for our children, or for our country. That's what's
Wait.
at stake in this
I think the Democrats stole her teeth. That's why she's mad. Oh, okay. Now I totally understand. Yeah, go ahead. Vote Republican.
election. And that's why we must re-elect Donald Trump.
No.
God bless you.
No.
God
No.
bless the president.
And God bless these United States.
Who is that guy? Oh, that must be the Malcolm X always warned about media coonism, so that must be the guy that they brought to verify that Trump's not a racist simply because, you know, he's black and whatever. They should have gotten Thomas Sewell. I don't know. Maybe he was busy. That was terrible. That was absolutely terrible. Well, I guess that's about it. That was the worst freaking interview. That was the worst camera thing I've seen in a long time. You guys did poorly, and you were stupid, and I hope the ATF deals with you properly.